In June, we had count them, 4 Critical Role episodes. That's because there was an extra week in June, which happens 2 times a year, as anyone who gets paid every other week will tell you. So we got an extra episode this week, and I want to talk about what went down in June in episodes 60 through 63. Because I am Daisy Ex Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. Critical Role is a live-action Dungeons & Dragons tabletop role-playing game played by professional voice actors. Because it is my thesis that Critical Role is a new medium of storytelling, I try to analyze Critical Role in terms of traditional storytelling. The party was split in 2 some time ago, and after 7 episodes of Fern, Imogen, FCG, and Chetney, we finally get to see what happens with Laudna, Orem, and Ashton. These next 4 episodes bring us up to 5 episodes with the second half of the party, and I think that the full party will be reunited in the first week of July. At least I hope that's the case. And if Prism, played by Emily Axford, sticks around, I won't be unhappy because she's a pretty awesome player. The other 2 guest players, Denise, played by Amy Carrero, and Bordor, played by Utkarsh Amdekar, were less experienced players but were hilarious additions to the party. But going back to Emily Axford, who played Prism, someone in the comments in my last Critical Role video pointed out that she was one of the players in the Not Another D&D podcast, which I've listened to. I didn't keep up with the podcast because I just couldn't keep committing to yet another streaming D&D game, but she was always hilarious, an innovative player, and had an awesome familiar named Pawpaw, who I think was a possum, maybe. Someone can correct me down in the comments below. Anyway, in episode 60, the party finally makes it to the small town of Endovar, which is under the yoke of the Temple of the Dawnfather. Now, the Dawnfather is allegedly one of the good gods, but we are seeing here that, at least in this branch of this church, it has become very tyrannical and overbearing, and this feels like one of the themes of the campaign. Are the gods a positive force in Alexandria or a negative force? Would mortals be better off without them? Lots of crises of faith here. Of course, no one buys into Ludinus's plot to release a god killer from Rudius to destroy the gods. At least that's allegedly what he seems to be doing or have done. But anyway, one of the leaders of the town, Abadina, says she will scry to help the party find their friends, but in return, the party has to help the town overthrow the Temple of the Dawnfather. The party agrees, and the episode basically sets up for the big fight at the temple. So, episode 61 opens with the battle. Can I just say, this is one of my favorite battle scenes in Critical Role, easily up there in the top 10. We get the party versus lawful good, a revolution against the tyranny of the gods from the townspeople. When the battle finally moves inside the temple, I just got some really strong vibes of old school D&D campaigns, where high-level characters start summoning beings that really turn the tide. On the Temple of the Dawnfather's side, we get the summoning of a celestial. Was that a planetar? Maybe. Something that felt very much out of the party's league, but then Prism summons a greater demon and the 2 outer planar creatures do battle. I was on the edge of my seat. And not to mention, Abadina summons an earth elemental and Laudna summons a hound of ill omen. There were several times where the tide seemed to turn for one side or the other. It was just an awesome battle. In the end, the party defeats the Dawnfather and the townspeople are freed. Abaddon does scry for the party, so they know that the other half of the party is safe. There's also a scry for Denise, and she sees her boyfriend. She sees he's still alive, and they have to pressure Bordor to get scried for his brother, but that seems to have been a fail. In episode 62, the party leaves the town they saved to try to find Hevestro the Hierophant, a powerful druid who they think will be able to teleport them to the rest of the party. Abadina sends an elemental wind panther to guide them. And this is pretty much a travel episode, so not much really happens or is revealed, but the party does get to where they expect to find the Hierophant, but instead he doesn't seem to be anywhere around. What they do find is a crystal cave made up of raw residium, the magic crystal that started the whole Bell's Hells campaign. Is that right? Wasn't residium used to animate the furniture in their very first adventure? But of course, something seems to be living in the crystal. Episode 63 is where everything goes wonky. There's a pretty long battle with the crystal creature we now know is named Evithorir. Some sort of dark fae who escaped courtesy of the apogee solstice, of course. The combat was alright, though for me anyway, it didn't hold a candle to the Temple of the Dawnfather battle. Though there was a pretty good volley of counterspells, which felt like a game of Magic the Gathering.
And is going to release this like small, actually it's not very small, it's a pretty thick black shadowed hand that puts an arm out there, and this little bead of light fires outward.
Counterspell.
Counterspell?
Yeah.
All right. It's going to use its reaction to counterspell your counterspell.
Anyway, after they defeat the Dark Fae and rescue Hevestro, he agrees to teleport them. And I don't think anyone expected what happened next. At least I didn't. We finally find out that Bordor is a villain. As if we have completely forgotten about the whole Dusk debacle, when we found out our guest player was a traitor, we find out that Bordor was a member of the Ruby Vanguard, and he witnessed Bell's Hells kill his friends during the apogee solstice. He casts some sort of acid bomb, but he doesn't stand a chance. Laudna goes full psycho killer. Maybe we even witness the return of Delilah. I mean, what happened? In the end, everyone teleports away. Denise goes to a tavern in Westrun, and everyone else, including Prism, goes to Drusar. I'm assuming the party will reunite in Drusar. Maybe Prism will continue as a guest player, at least for a while. Again, I think that will be cool because her wizard character and sentient spellbook are so much fun. And like I said before, Emily Axford is experienced playing D&D as a spectator sport from the Not Another D&D podcast, and that's not exactly the same as playing D&D. Now, stepping back, I'm not sure from a storytelling standpoint whether we got much movement in the storyline other than reinforcing that the gods may not be a positive force. I have heard extremely speculative rumors that Matt may be planning to get rid of the gods to redefine the gods for his Exandria campaign, so maybe that's the direction we're heading. If you know anything more about that, let me know down in the comments. And please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I will say that I found the Orem Laudna Ashton side adventure to be much more fun than the other side adventure, which I was getting kind of exhausted with at the end. I was kind of hoping everyone would teleport to Rudius, the moon, and so we could figure out what's going on with the city on the moon, but I don't think that's happening. Maybe later though. They're all 9th level now, which is a pretty decent level because you get 5th level spells, which are no joke. But traveling to other planes or other planets or moons, maybe that's more of a 12th to 15th level adventure. Honestly, I don't think either of these side adventures from the split party added a whole lot to the storyline. I do expect the temperature to be cranked up as we find out more of what Apogee Solstice has done and what Ludinus has been up to. Again, in a traditional story structure, this is a point where the bad guys move in. But we shall have to wait and see what the July campaigns have in store for us. Until we meet again, may all the books you read and all the campaigns you play be blessed.